It's Friday afternoon, January 8th, 2021, and it's your pal Ken Owen. It's been about 9 hours since I talked to you. I was outside actually after I had run this tape through an old U-matic machine and found out that what it says on the front, Rockbox, Twisted Sister. Rockbox was a show on Channel 59. There's only just a shard of this show left on here in little pieces. Because what had happened was when Channel 59 stopped doing a regular newscast, and many of us in the news department lost our jobs because, as Chris Duffy, who was the wonderful general manager and who I will forever hold dear in my heart, he was crying when he let me go, and he said, "Ken, you're going to find a job and you're going to be in a better place." And I was 23 years old, not yet 24, and I thought, there's just no way. I'd been in television for 5 or 6 months. I had not saved a shred of videotape because I never imagined I would lose my job. So he allowed me to use the postal meter and gave me as much tape as I wanted. I used the studio. I brought all my suits in and I mocked up a tape which eventually got me a job in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So I get to Fort Wayne, and this tape, which I've had since 1984, was in my possession. I thought Rockbox was on here, and what I obviously did was I had this in my desk at Wayne TV, and whenever I had a clip I wanted to save, I would put it on this tape. So, and pretty clumsily, there are just crazy kind of breaks in it. There's no rhyme or reason to how this thing was recorded, but that's where the tape came from. I know this is getting a little lengthy. I'll make it quick. The second part of it is Tony Bennett came to Fort Wayne in January of 1985 to open the brand new convention center, the Grand Wayne Center, and I was sent to cover the proceedings, which, you know, is a big deal for a city like Fort Wayne to have the Grand Convention Center open for the first time. Now, the interesting thing is that I had attended an afternoon news conference with Tony Bennett and sat next to him and had a nice chat with him afterwards. He's a wonderful man, So again, that's 1985, January, and I had thought I had nothing saved from that. I knew I had saved a story on the evening that I had done that showed Tony Bennett singing. Here's a little clip of that.
The new facility, with its high ceilings and lavish carpeting and woodwork, will be a busy place this year. Officials estimate 250,000 people will visit the Grand Wayne in 1985. That's good news for Fort Wayne's economy, especially for the downtown area. Rounding out the history-making event was a concert by Tony Bennett, a singer best known for his rendition of "I Left My Heart in San Francisco." But for the 1,500 people who welcomed in the Grand Wayne Center tonight, their hearts are in Fort Wayne and are showing no signs of leaving. The grand opening ceremonies will continue for 9 more days, so the entire community has a chance to visit the center.
But I thought I had nothing from the news conference. And so this morning, running this tape, I saw that clip which I've been telling people for years. There are so many things in my career I wish I'd saved. Talking to Lena Horne, talking to Ginger Rogers. I didn't save it. And I thought I never saved Tony Bennett. But as you're about to see, I did. And this is what remains on the tape of, and it's just a little snippet, but it's a great memory. Tony Bennett, January 1985, Fort Wayne, Indiana.
As we mentioned earlier, Tony Bennett is in Fort Wayne tonight performing at the Grand Wayne Center opening. Earlier today, the entertainer took some time out to meet with reporters. He says he enjoys performing at galas such as the Grand Wayne Affair, and he traces that feeling to a childhood experience which happened when he was 6 in New York.
I walked over the Triborough Bridge with Mayor LaGuardia and Franklin D. Roosevelt, and we cut the ribbon to the opening of that bridge. And everybody was in such a festive mood and so happy and joyous that I migrate to that kind of feeling. That's why.
And there's me with Tony in 2021. Tony looks young, I look old. What happened? Interesting sidebar. So I saw Tony Bennett live in Carmel. A Wonderful Fraulein invited me to the concert in May of 2019. It was a great show. Tony, who's now 94, puts on an amazing show to this day. But when I interviewed Tony Bennett in 1985, you got to think about this. He had lost his record deal. He had overcome a drug problem. He had had all kinds of financial problems. His life was not in great shape, and he had hired his son, Danny, to become his manager and try to rebuild his career. Well, what a difference Danny Bennett made in Tony Bennett's life, because in 1986, the year following the clip you just saw, Tony Bennett released The Art of Excellence, and his career went boom. And as I was driving to that show in May of 2019, 2019 was not a great year for me. A lot of change, a lot of turmoil. I was really trying to figure out what was going to happen next. But I realized on the way to the show that when I talked to Tony Bennett in 1985, he was 58 and I was 24. As I'm going to see him, I realized that at that point, I am 58 and he is 92. If you would have told me in 1985, when I sat next to Tony Bennett, that this guy would have anything resembling the career he's had, because it looked like he was going to be, and nothing against these guys, but Jerry Vale or Vic Damone, he had his moment in the 60s. I Left My Heart in San Francisco. He had a great body of work, but Columbia Records had dropped him, and it looked like the game was over. So for me to be heading to a concert of his, it's here we go again, 34 years later, and I'm the age he was when I sat next to him, kind of thinking, this poor guy, these aren't the best of times for him. He's opening a convention center in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He's pretty far from Sinatra. And today, he and Sinatra are right together. And Danny Bennett deserves a lot of credit for great management and being a loving son. And of course, Tony Bennett is just Tony Bennett. And it just took a good manager to put him in front of people in the way he needed to be. Remember the MTV Unplugged thing? The thing was huge. So anyway, that's my memory from this tape. There are more memories that I'll share later, not in this way, and I won't go into an elaborate story. But again, if you're having a tough day, there's always a rainbow ahead of you. And that's the lesson of this tape. Tony Bennett, when I saw him, was clearly trying to dig himself out of the problems he'd had. And again, all these years later, look where he is. So you may be in a bad rut. It may be a bad year. Things may not be going your way, but there is always tomorrow. And the sun will rise and things will change. Go get them, guys. Have a great weekend and play some Tony Bennett. God, this is good for the soul. See ya.